All right, fellas. Playoff week. Week 21. The season is over. And we had some pretty good matchups that, determined first place, second place. And the Commish got in. Guys? He had a big matchup with AJ. Blew AJ's
yeah, it was a close one, AJ.
$1,000.
Yeah, sorry, AJ. But I wanted to get in the playoffs, so I had to do what I had to do. No tanking here.
Yeah, I had to hear that all week. But hey, you know what? That's how it rolls. And, it's funny because I told AJ, you need to run with hot hands and not just play the guys you have man crushes on. And he's man crushing Trey Turner. And if you would have went with Suarez went off for him this week. Now, I don't know what it came down to, if it was pitching that was the determination with your matchup. But he just refused to bench guys that he should have benched that are slumping. And we're going to go into the players that we think are ones that got us into the playoffs.
Yep.
And I think we need to start by saying a cheers to making the playoffs to me and you.
Yep, cheers.
To Adam, AJ, Joe, and Lewis, you fucking moron. So maybe Ray, but Ray's got a neck-and-neck matchup.
Yeah, Ray looks like he took the lead, so...
Well, when I checked, he has 3 guys going tonight, Trout, Springer, and Altuve, and he was like tied in runs and tied in hits. So it's a walk-off, but cheers, bro, for making the playoffs.
Yeah. We're not leaving you out, Ray. I think you might be in, but the day's not over, so...
I think that's karma on me for talking shit, because I did not want you in the playoffs, man. With that team, it's going to be brutal, but beating you is going to be more satisfaction knowing that you have that stock team. So now that I have someone else on the video, I think it's going to be a lot more better. We're going to have a kind of a structure that we're going to go by. I got a better setup instead of my fucking bedroom. Got a little bit of the Dodgers, our little history of our boys, travel ball, Highland Park. I got Vinny, Gibson, Clayton, and Fernando behind my beer. And then, of course, because Matt Kemp did it twice for us in the series, 2 Kemps, baby. Go Dodgers.
Yeah.
Walk off, baby. So, I think we'll start. Let's talk about the first week, or this past week, week 21, the last week of the season, how the matchups went. Dale, you tell me what brought you to this matchup, and you were damaged by the DL bug.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I just want to say a great season, guys. I think it was fun. Everyone was in it almost till the end. And, I think we got someone to squeeze in. But, yeah, just to talk about my season a little bit. Yeah, I was hampered with the DL most of the year. And I know, Eric, you're going to say you too. But I think everyone was hit with the DL, and everyone did a great job making moves and trying to get out of it. But... you know what? My team got hot at the right time, and I think I stunned AJ this week.
Beat him twice
and
this season.
Beat the first place team because AJ was in first place most of the year. I mean, it was a battle up there, but AJ had a great team, and
we're going to talk about some of the players that specifically we thought on our teams and other teams that gave them the run. And going back to Eric, I think the DL he's talking about, he put the DL in dollars because that guy racked up on some cash, and he made some nice moves. And I was rooting for him because I thought it would have been hilarious if he would have made it, especially knowing that there's some teams I looked at, not going to call anybody out, but you could have managed your teams a little bit better. And not saying one of you might have cost yourself, but I think you did. So, yeah, your team came back, beat AJ, did it twice this season. I had a little karma coming my way because I was talking shit, and you commented on the group me that karma's gonna be a bitch, and you know what? You beat me twice this season, so I'll cheers to you, bro, because that was epic. You have my vote for the consolation bracket. I think your team's gonna win. Everybody else is just kind of falling out, or they've just said, "Fuck it, I'm moving on to fantasy football." So take that $100, bro. And Chewy has been a tough matchup. Every time I played him, he took me to... I had him the first week, and the first week was that extra long week. We had the extra few days, and he took me to the end. And then the second matchup took me to the end, where I barely beat him by 1 category, 1 point. And Chewy is going to kick us off, not kick us off, but talk about more about last week. He is playing spoiler to Lewis right now.
Well, Chewy, I've always noticed that he always took the lead in the beginning of the week, but towards the end, his team kind of flattened out. I don't know, just bad timing or bad luck, but he was competitive most of the year. Like I said, most teams were this year. So,
I think what handicaps him is he is Dodgers inspired, and I'm not saying the Dodgers are a handicap to get those players, but when you pull the trigger on some certain Dodgers early in the draft, it inhibits you to kind of really manage your team where you can get the most stats out of your players. When you draft Chase Utley, who's only going to play maybe once a week, and you draft Kike Hernandez, you're limiting yourself in your potential. And I think truly, this is a learning lesson for you, because I can see you in the playoffs next year the way your team went this year. I mean, you really had a good team. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about my matchup with Moy. Probably the worst week I had this season. You're gonna hate me, but it's all right. I gave you some credit. I'm not gonna give you 100%.
But yeah, his best week. I think
his best week,
his
man.
Offense tore
that
up.
fucking guy, 12 home runs and 35 walks. Who does that shit? So big up. And then real quick, I think we should just focus on the playoff guys, just because we don't want to be talking for an hour. But Adam played Carlos, which I thought was kind of a layup for him. The 1 seed or the 2 seed against the 14 seed.
I like how they made it close all week, right?
They made it close,
until Friday.
Adam was losing up until Thursday because we're doing these videos. I've been watching this, pretty heavily the last few days and since we started. And Carlos had a third of his team injured, including one of his hottest hitters, and Jason Hayward. Now, did he play Rizzo? No, but I can't get mad because his other first baseman. Big hitter, first baseman, Chris Davis.
But I traded him.
Went on a little run. So, and we'll talk about maybe for a couple minutes about a couple trades that really benefited certain people. I helped this guy. I gave him a fucking number 2 pitcher in J.A. Happ. So, and then the last matchup, Joe went against Eric. And Eric has been trying to be playing spoiler. And, I want to thank you guys for actually setting your lineups and keeping it competitive because, we don't want a layup going into the season. I get it, you're not in the playoffs. But play spoiler, have fun with it because it's going to be several months before we play again. And we all know that you get hyped up when it comes around. Whether you want to admit it or not, this shit is a great time. It's fun. And I really bought into it the last 3 years after I fell out. And you can see I'm running with it. So...
great.
So, and then one more matchup, Ray against Alejandro.
It was back and forth. Alejandro had the lead early in the week, then Ray, and then just the last 24 hours. I mean, Ray had the lead going into today, and Alejandro took the lead sometime at noon or 2 o'clock when I group meet everyone about the
I saw those posts.
Spoilers. So, but Ray took the lead again, 9-5. Looks like he might take it and sneak into the 6th spot. The one team we probably didn't want in our playoffs, right?
Yeah, might sound like a pussy, but damn, that's an all-star team. So, looking at the quick recap, everything's gonna be final after this ESPN Sunday night baseball game, but pretty much everything is set. And if we're looking at it, since we're gonna go into our next segment, we're gonna look at next week. So. The way it's lining up is that I'm going to drop down to the 5 seed, and if Lewis does lose, he will be out, and Ray will jump into that 6 seed. Mm-hmm. Dale's going to lead me, go to 4, and I think Lewis will go up to 3.
Not Lewis.
Joe. Joe will go up to 3. So that means with Adam and Adrian getting a bye, and congrats, Adam, you got that $1,000, man. So big up to you. You're on your way to Mexico again for another vacay. That's awesome, bro.
And you know what, Austin? $350 is not bad, right?
Hey,
but.
I told him, your fucking driver's ed classes are paid for, motherfucker. You're paid for, no excuses.
Hey, and there's still a chance for you to win another $1,000. Well, all of us, top 6, we have a chance to win $1,000.
Yeah, I don't want to talk shit, but he's been such a downer lately. I'm like, dude, I had a claim for the last 3 weeks just to make the playoffs. Look at Dale, he had to make a run.
Yep.
I think he won maybe out of the last 7 weeks, he won 5 or 6 out of the 7. Yep. Like, dude, that's a run, man. Yep. So it looks like me and the Commish will be doing battle next week, 3 against 6, and then Joe and Ray, because Ray's going to jump to, Lewis and Ray, Joe.
Lewis is out.
Lewis is out.
Yep. Joe and Ray.
Joe and Ray, because since I dropped
And these are all projections. Final numbers will be tomorrow, but this is what we're assuming.
Because I'm 5, you'll be 4, Joe will be 3, and Ray will be 6.
Yep.
Yeah, so Joe, you got your hands up full. So you got to hope
Scherzer, Nola, pitching dominance.
You got to hope DeGrom carries your pitching, man, because you got your hands full. And he's got everybody healthy back. And that's the thing that pissed me off when I played Ray. He had Trout on the DL, Altuve on the DL, Springer out, and I still lost to that freaking guy, man. So, so that's how it's looking at for next week, first week of the playoffs. Now, I kind of want to go to players that are trending for our teams, and I want to look at a couple players for other teams that brought them to the playoffs, I think. And I'll kick it off by saying a player on my team who did really well for me this year that people didn't want to admit at first, but they see it now that he was an All-Star officially, is Blake Snell. Blake Snell was a beast for me this year. If he hadn't got hurt and was out for 2-3 weeks, he would have been legit Cy Young consideration for the AL.
17 wins on the Rays, 5 losses. Almost, he's gonna have 200 strikeouts by the end of the year,
and a 2.02 ERA. Dude,
wow, I didn't even know he did that great.
Yeah,
wow,
$9, $9 for that food.
Definitely a steal right there.
So Blake Snell for me. Who on your team? Because if I had to say someone, I'm going to say Christian Yelich. Yelich went off, but you go ahead and you tell me who is that player.
You know what? I have a lot of players trending up, but yeah, Yelich definitely carried me this week for I think 3 or 4 home runs, 10 RBIs just this week alone.
You almost hit the cycle against AJ.
He did hit the cycle.
He did hit the cycle.
And he, I think, got 5 or 6 hits that game.
Damn.
So he did beast. Yelich. He's my MVP candidate, but you know what? Who really carried me throughout the year? Baez. So thanks, Carlos, for that.
Javi
Baez.
He just got to 100 RBIs and 30 home runs today.
So, like I said, I could go on and on about my team, but yeah, those are probably the 2 guys I'll highlight. They've been carrying my team, and they've been on my team most of the year. So,
because for Adam, I want to see he's got a loaded offense, but I think Carlos Carrasco came up for him pitching-wise, gave him a third pitcher that was serviceable, kept him in, because when we go into our trending down, I'm going to talk about a couple players for Carlos and my team Adam, that might have hurt us towards the end, but he still pulled away with the 1,000. But Carlos Carrasco for him, and then for Joe, DeGrom. DeGrom carried him, trending up. Cy Young, I think he's in the lead. They just made a comparison to him and Kershaw's numbers when Kershaw won it. Yeah,
so DeGrom, the wins aren't there, right? But David Vassay said it at the post-game show that we face him. The Dodgers face him tomorrow, so they say he's making history just the way his numbers are. So,
man, cut that hair and playing amazing.
There you go.
For AJ, Chris Davis. I think Chris Davis had a monster year.
40 home runs, 100 RBIs already. But you know what? Turner had a great August, right?
Turn 2 red. Is that what they call him?
Yep.
Turn 2 red.
So if they continue to swing a hot bat, and you know what? He has Verlander rejuvenated himself. So and Greinke. So he's a tough matchup as well.
Big trade acquisition in Zach Greinke. When we go to that 3-pitcher rotation in the playoffs, I like that Verlander, Greinke, and
he has options.
Yeah, he has options. So and then for Ray, Ray, where do you start? But I think for Ray, when he had guys hurt, his pitching is what did it for him. Because Altuve slumped for a little bit. He was hurt. Trout was hurt. Springer was hurt. But if we look at his pitching, I think, David Price, he's day-to-day now, but David Price went on a run. And, of course, Scherzer and Nola. You can't get anything but Price he drafted.
Yeah, his 3 will definitely be a tough matchup. We'll see. He has a lot of high JD Martinez.
Fucking Martinez, man. And then you wonder why I talk shit.
Yeah, we could go on about his team, but good luck, Joe. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. And so we saw Joe, you, me, AJ, Adam, and then our last one. That's it. I think we got everybody. We got Ray too.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, Lewis. Not your team this year.
Man, Lewis,
I think he was. He was first place just not too long ago. I think right around the All-Star break too.
Yeah, Adam and AJ stayed up there for a while, but there was people that bounced in there. I bounced in there for a couple weeks. I think even Joe was in there for a week or 2. So, but yeah. So now let's players trending down. For my team, Jose Ramirez has been slumping for the last 3 weeks. And I don't know what is going on with the guy, but I've been having to really rotate him. Jose Ramirez, he was in a MVP type year, but damn, the last 3 weeks, I really think he's batting 250, 220, 240 if I'm lucky. So trending down Jose Ramirez, I hope he gets it back because they're on a playoff run, and I'm so glad my team is loaded up with players that are on playoff teams. I just hope they don't limit Blake Snell. That's all I gotta hope. Who's trending down for your team?
For me, since Correa came back from the DL, no bueno. I think he's batting under 200 for the last month. Yeah, 187, 1 home run. Yeah, he has 11 RBIs, but he's my number one, my freeze. Carlos Correa, my freeze and slumping for my team. Luckily, that's probably the only name outside of my relief corps I could talk about right now.
It cracked me up that he had that hitting support tool that he's been advertising, and then he didn't get really too many hits this year. And then trending down for Adam, I saw on MLB that Arenado is like 3 for his last 23 at bats, and Lindor has been batting like 260, which is not Lindor-like. I mean, you're looking at Lindor and you're hoping he's batting 285 for you and getting on base, getting your runs, stolen bases. And the Indians as a whole, other than Michael Brantley, not been playing as well. They're lucky they're in the Central because, damn, I think they would have a lot of trouble if they keep this up in the first round of the playoffs. So Lindor and Arenado, he needs them to pick up, or else Adam, you might be a little tough right there. You got lucky playing Carlos at the end, I think. Trending down
for AJ. You know what? I know we talked about how Chris Davis had a monster year, but you know what? What I noticed with my series against him for the last couple weeks, batting 186. But you know what?
Man, look at that, 3 for 31.
3 for 31 for the last against my matchup. So only 1 home run, 2 RBIs. That hurts because I'm sure he was a monster for you all year. And that's why you were in first place most of the year. So
you got to let go of Trey Turner, man. You love him, but dude, he can't do it right now.
So there, I think for AJ, that would be Chris Davis.
Chris Davis trending down. I did not know he went 3 for 31. That's pretty bad for your power hitter. Carpenter really carried AJ.
Oh yeah.
So let's see, Joe trending down. I could think of a couple right off the bat.
Well, welcome Gary Sanchez back, but I think he's only had a few at bats.
But I think Dozier you picked up, and I saw today the Dodger game. He's batting 225. Mm-hmm. I think you really rely on the long ball because looking at your players, I'm sorry, but the average is kind of trending down. You've been going by the long ball, and there's nothing wrong with that. You get every stat: runs, hits, RBIs, OPS. But you need consistency.
And who's your third starter? Chris Archer?
Trending down pitching.
Yep. I mean, last week in 10 innings, a 6.30 ERA. For the last month, 5.40. So you have some question marks there, my friend.
All right. So that was trending up and trending down.
And Ray.
Ray! Oh, well, hey. Everything's trending up.
He needs something to trend down. But... Yeah, solid. Like I said, scary team going into the playoffs. I know you have your top 3. Let's see, are you going to stick with Ohtani as your DH? And you have some depth, so...
if I had to say you're trending down, I'd say maybe first base. Morales is he's not ideal, but considering all the other offense you have to supplement that, and the fact that you picked up that guy, I forgot his first name, but Pinder from the A's. I mean, I don't know, he's so versatile. And he is having not a bad year at all. I mean, you get any Oakland A, other than maybe Chris Davis and his average, but you got a good team right there. And every player on his team, I mean, they're going to play Trout no matter what. They're not shutting Trout down. So, but every player on his team is in playoff contention, which means they're going to come hard with their playing. So he's in a nice position. So we'll go from trending down to we call sigh of relief. So an injured player that either avoided injury or just came back in injury just in time for the playoffs, so you can breathe a sigh of relief that you got this player back. For me, I think we could start it off with tonight. We had big news for Ray. No, Lewis. Sorry, Lewis. I was going to breathe a sigh of relief for you, but since you're not making the playoffs, Ohtani, your pitcher, doesn't mean anything. He is not going to help you. So it's more of a kind of a somber note on your end. But for me, for my team, I can breathe a sigh of relief, and I hope he gets the first base tag now that his shoulder. But I got Chris Bryant back. I got Chris Bryant back in time for the playoffs.
Perfect.
I can throw him out in the outfield because I don't think McCutcheon's going to get much time now that he's a Yankee. So, who on your team can you breathe a sigh of relief?
Well, my number one pick, Josh Donaldson, got traded to the Indians.
And he's in contention, so he wants to play.
We'll see if they start him. They haven't started him yet, but definitely Josh Donaldson will be a big bat in the middle of my lineup for the playoffs.
Hey, worst case, they rotate him and Ramirez at the DH, so he will get at-bats, and fantasy at-bats is all you need.
And at the same time, who do I bench? I have Murphy, Baez, and Cruz as my DH right now, so we'll see.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about it. You sustained a season of DLs and guys who were just not giving you production, but you didn't drop them, you didn't trade them, you hung on to them, you just put them on the DL and just stashed them away. Now you got Donaldson and Murphy back, and Murphy came back on a tear, man. And he came back, and now he's with the Cubs?
Yep.
Dude, that team, that's a team that if you're a Dodger fan and you not really worried about, but you know very well that the Cubs can get hot. And when Murphy's on a team, he's not on that Nationals team that was just like a team that was sick the whole year. He is on a team that's fired up, and he's with a hell of a coach. So, man, yeah, that's definitely a sigh of relief that you got Murphy back and Donaldson, and that they're both on teams of contention.
Yep.
So, now, sigh of relief for Joe. If I had to look at Joe's team, I think he got a pitcher back.
Gary Sanchez.
Oh.
He just came back.
Gary Sanchez.
Yep.
He was like your second or third round pick.
Yeah.
But your stud catcher who's on a playoff team, you know damn well that they rested him extra time so that he can be ready to go for the playoffs. And he's going to have a slow start, but I think if you can get past the first week and you get past Ray, he will warm up and he will contribute for you. So, Gary Sanchez, you can breathe a sigh of relief, Joe. And then, let's see, AJ. I think AJ had someone. I don't think AJ was hampered with injuries, but Turner. I mean, you can breathe a sigh of relief that Justin Turner came back in time for you for the playoffs. I think that's a big note.
He definitely turned it around. He slumped in the beginning, but like I said, best August, and let's see if he continues for our boys in blue.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So, and let's see, Adam. One last one that can breathe a sigh of relief. Let's see, who came back for him?
Eden came back, but I don't know if he's done much. Let's see. Hyunjin Ryu. Yeah, hey, you know what? His third start. He definitely needs a third starter. So.
Yeah, he needs a third starter. And if Chapman can come back, you could rack up those saves. Saves people can underestimate, but the way how every matchup has been very close. I got to tell you, I've won 3 matchups just based on stolen bases, winning that category, or winning saves. Because I have Edwin Diaz and Blake Treinen, I got strikeouts sometimes because of them, took lead on that, took lead on Ks per walks, and saves won me matchups just because of closers. So you guys say closers don't mean nothing, but you know what? In this league, the way how close everything was, you're going to take every category you can get, man, to get to the playoffs. So, everybody's breathing a little bit of sigh of relief for those players that came back. Last couple of things. Stocking up. Who are you putting stock in because they are the hottest hand on your team? I think if I'm going to look at a player that was one of the hottest hands in baseball this year, I want to look at AJ's team because Matt Carpenter, that guy is. I want to call a luck pick for AJ, but the guy's has a rank of what? Top 20 rank? 13. Little slumping lately, but dude.
Well, I don't know. 391 last week.
391.
The last month, 9 jacks, 16 RBIs. For the year, 35 home runs.
He'll hit 40. He'll hit 40 easy. So Carpenter, AJ, you do not take him out of your lineup. These are guys that we're going to mention that should never be taken out of your lineup for the playoffs. That would just be poor managing on your side. Let's look at Adam. Adam, who is going to be one that got him because, like I said, Arenado has been kind of struggling, and Lindor too. But Castellanos, dude, man.
Yeah, that was a good trade with Carlos, But since he's got him the last month, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs, batting .321. So it's definitely helping out his offense.
Nicholas Castellanos, the only Detroit Tiger that you're going to talk about in terms of fantasy
This
production.
season.
Yeah, because I don't know anybody else.
Nope.
Then we'll look at
Your team?
let's look at me. If I had to say, I mentioned Blake Snell, but I kind of want to say Trevor Story. Trevor Story's having a monster year this year. He was an all-star, and I really think his long ball is what kept me in a lot of home run matchups this year. He's just a beast. I think he's going to be. He can easily hit 30 if he hasn't got there already. We're going to pick up the stats right now. There we go.
He was ranked 16th
Ranked
this
16.
year. 26.
26, yeah. So he'll get me 30.
Yep. 86 RBI.
292 average. So Trevor Story fell to me. I think I got him late. I was actually looking at another shortstop, but then AJ stole him from me. And AJ's been notorious for stealing my players. I'm still pissed about Deshaun Watson in the fantasy football draft because I wanted him. But yeah, so Trevor Story. I am going to have him in my lineup. I only have one other backup shortstop, and that's Jonathan Scope. I should never have got from Dale. It's stupid. I just got too trade happy, man. That always happens to me every year. I get fucking trade happy, dude. I just keep making them.
All right, going for Joe.
Well, Betts has been slumping, dude.
All right, Machado's starting to tear it
I
up.
would say
right?
Machado, man. I definitely say Manny Machado. He's fired up. He's on a team that's in contention. You saw him out there today. First one out there congratulating Kemp on those big knocks. And
ranked 6 overall. 30. They're saying is one of his best seasons, offensive seasons yet. So 33 home runs, 88 RBIs. As a shortstop, I mean that's probably the best shortstop numbers you'll see. I mean, Story's getting close, to be honest, but a lot of good shortstops this year actually. So.
Yeah, most of the stats were in the AL, so I don't count that shit. I count NL stats, and that's Story, baby. And then last, Ray. I think we haven't done Ray yet. I mean, again, where do you start with Ray? But I'm not going to look at the guys that were injured, but I think you know the guy I'm looking at. Who is he? Right there.
JD, number 1.
JD, man. JD
number
Martinez,
1 overall fantasy in our league. So.
Wow, I mean, I don't know if you knew that, it anticipated him doing that well, but fuck, man. Like, I knew going into the draft that the Red Sox were going to be players you wanted to target because they were going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was saying that the Yankees were the team, that they had Judge and got Stanton, and they had they really were hyping up as a Cy Young candidate. Their starting pitcher, Severino.
Yeah.
But man, when I saw that they had Sale, I knew Mookie Betts was not a fluke, and that's why Joe froze him.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you need to get Red Sox. Did I get any Red Sox? No, I fucking didn't because they all went. But Price and JD Martinez, tell me about his stats.
Yeah, so 100 runs already, 39 bombs, 115 RBIs, and he's had 100 for over a month now. 5 stolen bases, 57 walks, 321 total bases, and a 335 average. I mean, it looks like MVP numbers right there.
Yeah,
sorry, Mike Trout.
Yeah, he's MVP. And you got Mike Trout too, so...
Yeah, and Mike Trout.
And I'm sorry, did you not get the MVP of the World Series on your team when Jose Altuve? So,
and yes, George Springer.
Oh, George Springer, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great time, man. Great time.
Yeah.
And
snuck in there.
that's what I'm telling you, man. I hate sounding like a fucking fantasy bitch, but I'm playing you, and I hope whoever wins in our matchup has a team that's hot because you're going to need it going against Ray, because even Ray's team on their worst day is going to be a tough matchup.
Good luck, Joe.
So good luck, Joe. Damn.
Enjoy those buys.
You better be above average, Joe.
Austin and Adam, enjoy those buys.
Yeah, enjoy the bye week. And I think if I had to say another sigh of relief, AJ. AJ can breathe the sigh of relief that he has a bye week because his team, he lost, I think, 3 out of his last 4.
Oh, wow.
And that cost him. That cost him $1,000. And, AJ, you can breathe the sigh of relief that maybe your team has a week to get their shit together because looking at it, I think the one plays the winner of, is it 3 and 6?
I think one plays the team that comes out on the lowest rank. So it kind of reshuffles.
So I think it's going to go by, yeah, okay, all right.
So that makes sense?
Oh, okay. It's not a direct, like, 1 plays 3-6, 2 plays winner 4-5. It's going to be how the matchups break down and who the total points go to. And he's going to, well, Adam will be the 1 seed. So Adam will probably play the team that had the worst total stats in their win.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So that could hurt him because if Ray wins, he'll probably face Ray.
Yep. So Adam, you can breathe a sigh of relief too. Then you got to buy. So I think our last thing, and it's perfect because we're coming up on 30 minutes, and I think we want to keep this 30 to 45 minute video. Is predictions. obviously we're both going to pick each other's team to win. But if you had to make a prediction, offense or pitching on each team, who do you give the advantage to in each matchup? So in our matchup, I'm going to be straight up. I think your offense has the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kershaw as a pitcher, and you got Happ, who's been pretty consistent. But
I only have one more starter after that.
Yeah, and I think
I can't even say his name.
Yeah. So I think my depth at pitching will allow me to play matchups a little bit better against you. I think you have the advantage in offense because Baez, Murphy, you got Donaldson back. Correa is going to turn it around when he's on the first place team in the Astros. So advantage you offense. I think advantage me pitching for my depth. Syndergaard just threw 9 innings against the Giants. I got Blake Snell, and then I can rotate a couple other guys. Bring up my pitching. Yeah, I made a little run. I was down 16-1. I'm now 11-7. John Gray could be a spot starter.
Mm-hmm.
Newcomb could be an Arrieta. So I could spot start that 3. But Syndergaard and Snell, I just hope they don't limit Snell because they're finally letting him off the chain when he came back from the DL. But he's been averaging 6 innings the last 6 starts. So I'm hoping he can be a quality starter to win. But Tampa Bay's playing hot right now. So how about you?
And you know what? Let's correct things. I have to double check, but we might be able to start 4 this year. I think that's what we voted on the winter meetings, but I will get
That'll be
back.
interesting.
So it might be 4. I know the last couple of years it has been 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year. So I know we changed it up. So I'll verify and shoot out a group message.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of an interesting look because you have 2-3 starters that you can consistently put in that will give you a legit chance of getting those categories. Adam has 2-3 starters. Carrasco, Garrett Cole, and then I think he has one other guy. But he's only been running like 3 pitchers a matchup. He's really limiting his pitching. He gets to that 18-inning mark, and if he gets 3 quality starts in low ERA, he doesn't play any more pitching. So let's see. Carrasco and Hyun-Jin Ryu and Cole. That's it. He's not going to go with Bieber. He's inconsistent. Barrios, inconsistent. And that's it. So that's going to be interesting. If you can get a 4th starter in against a matchup like Adam, that could carry you.
Yep.
And then, of course, Ray has the best pitching. Now, that's going to be hard for Ray because he's going to have to pick and choose. You don't get to run all 5.
And Ray will be facing Joe. So definitely going into their matchup, Ray's going to win the pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Joe.
And you know who DeGrom plays, huh?
The Dodgers.
He plays the Dodgers in your first mix, son.
Who are you rooting for, Joe? The Dodgers or DeGrom? So,
hey, the Dodgers are up by a game, so we need every game to count. So are you loyal?
And then the offense, I hate to say it, but maybe Ray has the advantage there. What do you think?
I think, and I sound like a broken record, but I think Ray has the advantage in every matchup with the players he has and who he got. Now, he spent quite a penny for it, and but he spent a penny last year, and he still drafted a good team.
Yep.
So we don't all have the checkbook that you can sign, dude, but you just signed yourself into the playoffs, so it's yours to you, bro.
So Ray's the Yankees of our league, and it looks like I could say Joe's the Red Sox. So
yeah,
you have a pretty solid team yourself, Joe. So we're not counting you out.
I like that comparison.
The Yankees Red Sox going to round 1, wild card.
Yeah, and you got Joe, you got guys that are in playoffs too with Machado, Dozier, Mookie Betts. So I don't know about that Trey Mancini. I'm really glad I gave him to you. He's kind of giving you some offense, but as a first baseman, you need a big first base bat. My first baseman started off hot. He started slumping in Moreland, in and out with injuries. But man, you need a big bat at those corner positions.
Yep.
So the long ball will hurt you.
All right, and like I said, AJ and Adam, enjoy your week off. You can turn off your app and not worry about
Just
it.
enjoy.
Not sit on the toilet
Just
and
enjoy.
pull out your phone
Yeah.
and track every minute. So
yeah, guys. So that is last week's recap. I got the commish here today. And you guys jump in on this shit, especially if you win your matchup. It's really fun to come in and just hype up your team and get excited for the next week. It's just like with anything else in life. Things only get better if you put more into it. So things get stagnant if we don't do things like this. For us, this is keeping it exciting. You have to do things that are new, and It's something I wanted to do for a while, and
I've been wanting to do.
yeah, and
I'm glad Anthony stepped up to the plate and started rolling
Yeah.
the ball. So.
and it's a good time. You know
Yeah.
what? We have beers. We're talking about baseball, and you're with your bros. It's a good time. So cheers to the playoffs,
Yep,
bro.
cheers.
And
football starts next Sunday, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Red Zone.
NFL.
If you don't have Red Zone, pay for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And-
get it.
And yeah, cheers to the playoffs, guys.
All right.
Good luck.
See you next week.
All right, peace.